Hello, everyone. You're listening to the Socially Desi Show, the podcast that motivates you to live, create, and inspire. If this is the first time here, welcome. On our show, we discuss tips and strategies with our guest speakers on how to tackle problems related to personal growth, mental health, relationships, business and entrepreneurship, and health and fitness. So hit that subscribe button and go check out our website at sociallydesi.com for more of such content. Today, we are interacting with Mr. MP Deepu. He's the co-founder of the company Senior World. Now, Senior World is inspired by seniors who want to live their life to the fullest and redefine the retired person stereotype. They provide content, products, services, and avenues for engagement to impact the lives of seniors and their families positively. I really love the vision that they have, which says enable Indian seniors to live more active, engaged, and independent lives. So, with that, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Mr. Deepu on the show. Hi, Deepu. Welcome to Socially Desi.
Hey, hi, Anurag. Thanks for bringing me here. Looking forward for this conversation. Thank you very much.
Absolutely, absolutely. Love to have you here. Thank you so much for doing this with the Socially Desi show. And to begin with today's episode, Deepu, I would quickly like to ask you. I really love the vision. Can you just talk about what made you write this statement? Because this statement is so powerful.
Uh, Look, we have seniors all around us, and unfortunately, in India, when you talk about seniors, we used to have an image of an elderly person who is dependent, who is after his retired life, completely socially not that active, back at home, and puja part and those kind of. We wanted to really break that. Actually, that's not reality, and we really wanted to bring that out and call out loud and clear that okay, look here, this is not time to retire, this is time to refire, and that's how we.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have done your bit, and now just go and enjoy, and that's how the whole vision came out.
Wonderful. I really love the term that you said. It's the time not to retire, but to refire. Love that. Love that. So, how did you co-founders, you and Rahul, met?
Okay, Rahul and me have been working earlier days. I used to work for Airtel Telecom, and
Hmm.
for quite some time, I think I spent most of my professional career over there, over 18 years. And me and Rahul also worked together there for some time. And after that, as a part of our career in Airtel, Rahul moved to Africa to head operations over there, and I moved to Bihar and Jharkhand Circle to head some operations
Okay.
responsibility over there. Uh, and after some time, so we worked together for some time in India, in corporate office, and that's how we know each other. Rahul came back from Africa around 2014, and I also came
Hmm.
back from Bihar to head something else in Airtel. That's how we met
Okay.
again, and we both wanted to do something which could probably socially impactful. And
Hmm.
we have been corporate profile, in CXOs throughout our life. Uh, but there was an entrepreneurship kida which was coming up and building up, and we thought, let's
Okay.
do something. And but we were very clear. Both of us had a common thought that whatever we do, it should be
Hmm.
socially impactful, and that's how we got together and we brainstormed. There were many ideas. Senior World was one of them, but we knew that this is a tough segment. It's something
Hmm.
new. It's something not being spoken about, and it may not be easy for the first time entrepreneurs to do that. So we thought we'll just maybe this is our second gen project. The first gen should be something easy, quick,
Hmm.
through which we can make some money and then get into Senior World. So actually, between me and Rahul, we didn't start Senior World first. Our first venture was something else. I can't say it's
Okay.
a venture, but we brainstormed on something else and started building that. And whenever we used to meet, we always used to quickly say that, okay, hey Rahul, hey Deepu, let's do this quickly because we have to make
Hmm.
money and we have to start Senior World. And I think after some time we realized that our heart and our brain are not talking to each other. Let's so
Yeah.
somewhere in our mind we want to do something for this segment, and that's how Senior World came. And there were a couple of more incidents which happened in our family, which
Hmm.
actually made us quickly jump into it. And maybe it's a good time to share that event. We all have a lot of WhatsApp groups in our you know
Yep.
in our life. So we have also one family group in which there were a lot of
Hmm.
family members. Unfortunately, there was one day in which there was a birthday of one of the relative, who was no more in the system, who is no more there. And
Oh.
everybody was recalling him and talking very positive about him, saying that, okay, how good he is, what all he has done for an individual, how helpful he was, how
Hmm.
nice he was. And in between that conversation, somebody just posted one message saying, I hope, guys, you told him when he was alive. And
Yeah.
there was a pin drop silence. And that's really hit us, and think that, okay, we just take this segment for granted. They do so much for us, but once they are in their 60s, they become a forgotten demographic. So we said, look, there is enough and more to be done here. And that's inspired us. It's extremely very motivating, segment. And today, when I recall back our decision, I really think that this was the best thing which has happened to me and Rahul in our life.
No, so true, Deepu. And these are the moments in our lives that really shape the things that we do in the future. And I'm sure people listening to us would have also felt some goosebumps. I have goosebumps right now because, in fact, in our families, in everybody's family, you have elderlies whom we love. We cherish the moments that we live with them, but we don't really come out and express those feelings to them. And I think it's high time that we start doing it. And speaking of that, Senior World has done a great job with building an engaged community of elderlies, which is almost touching 3 lakh active members right now. I would love to know what has been your experience while working with these people, and how have you been able to manage such a huge engaged community of elderlies?
Uh, Very interesting question, Anurag. In fact, there are now many startups who are working in this space, and we probably are one of the pioneers. When we started off, we had two approaches. We could have become a vertical company, which means we could have picked up a subject or
Hmm,
a
hmm,
vertical and then just gone deep into that. Or alternatively, there was an option of going horizontal, which means you pick up multiple verticals and then work on that. When we did our own research, and we found that there was so much opportunities available, and there's so much of gaps available in across all the areas wherever we were getting into. We thought that but just by doing one bit of it, we may not realize our vision, and therefore probably we'll have to do multiple things. While there was a risk in doing it, but we still thought that, okay, if we have to realize our vision, then we just can't be doing only one thing. We probably have to do multiple things. And since me and Rahul come from telecom, and we have handled millions of customers in during our career, for
hmm,
us scale never phased us. So we were not worried about the scale and the complexity, and we thought we'll go a horizontal route. Now, when we
hmm.
started off that thought, the first thing is important to know that, okay, you're your own customer, and in this case, the elderly. So first we thought that, okay, why don't we start talking to them? Let's hear
Hmm.
them out. Let's understand what's really bothering them, or let's understand what's missing in their life, and so forth. So before we started even any building any product or a service or any commercial stuff, we built our community, okay, and we built this community on our Facebook active page, and
Hmm.
we started talking to them, talking to them what they like, what they want to hear, and so forth. And that's how we started to know them much more and deeper, and that's how the community started building up. So we talk to them, uh, in their language. We talk to them things which they
Hmm.
like. Just to give an example, uh, you know uh, sometimes, so we have got different uh, tracks and different hashtags
Hmm.
on our community. So we do something on inspiring seniors. We'll talk age no bar. We will talk
Okay.
about nostalgia. When I say age no bar, then we'll pick up stories of those people who after the age of 60 would have done something
Hmm.
really inspirational, which people usually think that, okay, not possible. So we have picked up stories of people who after the age of 70s or 80s have done their graduation or have started
Okay.
going to school, or people
Hmm.
who at the age of late 80s have started doing yoga, or something
Okay.
else they wanted to do. Those things which people usually think that, okay, look, how can I do now? So we cover those stories, and talk about those age no bar. That age
Hmm.
is
Hmm.
no bar for you to do what you want to do. Okay. Similarly, we'll talk about something nostalgia where they can connect. So as simple as that, I remember, we had a a post in our community where I just picked up a petrol bill, which was, I think, in some some 1950s petrol bill we
Mm-hmm.
found, and it was some few pesos for a liter. And we just spoke about that. I said, look, what do you recall about that? And I think we could just had some 10,000 guys, commenting on that post, talking about their experiences, what happened and everything. So,
Mm-hmm.
and these are not just one liner. They will write, 100 words, 200 words of, you know, content and communication with us. They commute, they communicate to
Right.
us because there is a platform now where they can go back, connect, recall.
Mm-hmm.
So it's absolutely amazing. So therefore we share a lot about Bollywood right now. We do a lot of,
Mm-hmm.
because Bollywood is something which people connect. So, and I'll talk about, let's say, when Lata Mangeshkar's birthday will come, I'll probably put a small one of her song, and then people start
Mm-hmm.
relating that when I was in school, my father
Yeah.
father gave me, one Anna and two Anna or something like that, and we went and we saw this movie. So there is a story behind all of these things, and you should really read them. It's so touching, it's so motivating. So I think in what we wanted to do, I think we managed to do that well in our community. We managed to connect them. In fact, there are multiple tools available through which you can see how an engaged community is on a Facebook. And typically, when
Mm-hmm.
you will go and put a senior world name over there in those tools, you'll see that it's one of pretty high rated. Like we'll be in 95, 96,
Mm-hmm.
100% engaged, extremely engaged community. So pretty happy with
Yeah.
that.
Hmm. And you also spoke about, since being a horizontal company, you have a lot of different verticals, right? You have products, you have services, you have these communities. So, how has all your products and services and the other offerings really impacted the lives of the elderlies that you serve?
Uh, we whatever we have done, I think there is a use case behind those products and services. It's not that we just wanted to do and we have just done something.
Mm-hmm.
So our first product, which is a mobile phone specially designed for elderly with a brand name called Easy Phone, is currently one of the most loved phone for elderly who are looking
Mm-hmm.
for simplicity in their phone. Okay, it's still not a smartphone, but it's a phone loaded with features. So
Mm-hmm.
I know, I remember. So it has got many features. So typically, my mom, I was in telecom 18 years. My mom never had a mobile phone because she said,
Mm-hmm.
it really, is confusing.
Yeah.
Rahul's father, he used to be a pilot flying, Airbus, with Air India. Okay, he was
Wow.
a okay, but for him to handle a mobile phone is so tough because it's
Yeah.
definitely complicated for them. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
we created a mobile phone which is very simple in nature, meets a basic purpose, but still has got a lot of stuff. So things like on the mobile phone, you can actually control who is talking to your elderly and with whom they are talking to. I can manage that in my phone. So when I've given my phone to my mom, I have feeded all her close relatives number, and I have told her, mom, only आपको इसमें आपके relatives के phone ही आएंगे और कोई करके तंग नहीं करेगा, because it can control
Mm-hmm.
that. Okay, so and I am also very satisfied that my mom will never talk to any telecaller or anybody else. All calls which she's receiving, she will be from her elderly, from her
Yep. Yep.
relatives. Okay, so it has got an SOS button, it has got so forth. To the extent I
Mm-hmm.
remember very early days of when we had launched our first version of mobile phone, I one of my friend only, he bought the mobile phone and gifted to his grandmother, who was I think 91 or 92 year old,
Okay.
and and after giving the mobile phone, he also customized it and made it very simple for her to use,
Mm-hmm.
and after giving the phone to her, and since that guy knew me very well, he said, uh, she would like to talk to you. And I picked up the phone, I talked it, and she said, God bless you, beta. मैं चाहती थी कि मैं कभी हाथ में मोबाइल फोन पकड़ूं, तूने मेरी इच्छा पूरी कर
Mm.
दी.
Wow.
And
Mm.
I think my day was made, and I said, okay, what else would you need? So
True.
that's how the phone has been made. Now we have got multiple versions, and it's still, if you just go and type on Google, India's best senior friendly phone, you will just find
Mm-hmm.
Easy Phone everywhere. So it has got its own brand now, which is doing pretty well. We would have sold by now close to around 1.5 lakhs of
Mm-hmm.
a mobile phone, which is being used by different elderly people. So that's reasonably a good size for the niche segment which we are talking about. Coming back to our second vertical, which is assisted travel. Like we said,
Mm-hmm.
we want to be a company which is not focusing on just one thing. Travel is something which a lot of elderly people hold on. and they don't do much enough during their early days, purely because they live with a lot of commitments to their family. You have seen your parents or grandparents, throughout their life they will be working, morning 8 to 8, evening 8, working for the family and all of that, and they hardly travel. And if they travel, they will travel along with the kids to some relative places. But there is a wish list, and which is there. But a lot of people are not comfortable traveling alone, because there is, especially international destination. So we do
Mm-hmm.
group assisted travel. This is a very specialized tools which are carefully designed,
Mm-hmm.
keeping needs of the elderly people, and these are group assisted. So these are only elderly people, and there is a tour manager which goes with them from the destination, take them all around and brings them back. So it's just like,
Okay.
yeah. So it's we take care of everything, to the extent that, what kind of hotels you take, which kind of restaurant you take, which kind of bus you take, which kind of sightseeing you take. So for example, if you take your kids to France, probably you will go to Disneyland over there. In our
Mm-hmm.
case, probably will not go there. We know where we have to go. I have to know that, okay, whether this is a place where they can walk comfortably, because a lot of people will have a problem with their knees and so forth. Hotels, if you go, you need to ensure that they don't have bathtubs, because that's a little risky for them. They have lifts. The restaurants are perfectly making meals and so forth. And I think so. A lot of things goes in. So these are really extremely well crafted itineraries for the elderly people. So that's our vertical number two. We would have taken around 3,500 to 4,000 customers by now. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Pre-pandemic, obviously, this was active, and now it is just again going live. And now we are starting our vertical. But pre-pandemic, which is we were doing almost like two and a half, 200 customers a month kind of
Oh,
number.
nice.
Yeah, yeah. So that's kind of,
Mm-hmm.
and this was all largely international trips,
Mm-hmm.
taking them all over. So we covered US, Australia, all of Europe, Russia, Sri Lanka, you name it, almost every country.
Mm-hmm.
So then third vertical for us is safety. Safety is a concern for everybody. So over,
Yes.
over there, we produce very simple products which can make your home safer for elderly. These are motion sensor lights, these are door alarms, these are SOS
Mm-hmm.
buttons, and so forth, which you can simply do it yourself. These are not IoT, these are not tech, very, very simple products, but definitely can make the house safer for elderly. I have got very great stories over here as well,
Mm-hmm.
which probably during the course I'll share. But these are very simple products. And last not the least, we have the community which we have already spoken about. So these are large four
Yep.
verticals which we have right now. Anurag.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. I really loved that feature on the phone that you spoke about, wherein only people that you know and people that you want to contact the elderly can only call and receive. I think that's amazing because I was reading some reports in the past few years where a lot of elderlies were scammed, right? A lot of scamsters would call them, they would ask them to do something on their phone, and eventually they would lose a lot of money from their bank accounts.
Absolutely,
So
absolutely.
yeah, so I think that's a very powerful feature to have on a phone because, like you said, elderlies who are not from our generation, they are a bit technologically challenged because they have not seen that kind. Because in the last 10 years, the technology has taken leaps and leaps of a jump when it comes to the features, the advancements that has happened, and it becomes really difficult. And I'm sure when we grow old, I mean, the technology at that time would be something that we ourselves will not be able to really grasp that easily. So I
Yeah,
think these kind of
absolutely. With the technology, I have been always saying this, that across segments, and age
hmm.
groups, technology has got a very different meaning. If you go to a
Yep.
very young guy, the more the technology become complex, the more he enjoys, because
Hmm.
he plays with the technology. He loves to make it much more complex and then play with it. For
Yep.
elderly, you need to simplify the technology for them. They are great learners. I have seen people adopting technology pretty fast,
Hmm.
and doing things. They're ready to learn, but you need to make it simpler. You have to think from their lens. Unfortunately, that's not true. The technology currently get designed is one size fits all. Whether it is it's an app or it is anything else, it's one size fits all, which does not work
Hmm.
out for this segment. So in our own strategy, in our own roadmap, there are multiple products which are tech enabled, one which are in pipeline, which
Hmm.
will foray into in the coming quarters. They are tech products, but technology is simplified for elderly. So there will be a lot of
True.
interesting things coming up.
True, true. Absolutely. We'll definitely look forward to those new products and services. And also, I wanted to touch base on the nuclear family setup that we have currently in our country. Most of the families are away, joint families are shrinking. And with nuclear families, there comes a lot of challenges that not only seniors, but their kids also face. So I would like to know from you, what sort of challenges have you seen these nuclear families face, and how has Senior World been able to solve these challenges for them?
It's a brilliant question, and if you see our vision, we when we started off this whole venture, and when we did our research about this, so we met a lot of elderly people, but we also met a lot of children, grandchildren, to understand
Hmm.
their pain as well. And interestingly, what we found, and Rahul keeps on saying about this, that a lot of us who have moved on due to professional reasons away from our parents, are living with a lot of love, responsibility, and but a lot of guilt as well. Okay,
Yep, yep.
because we for reasons, professional reasons, we can't be with them, and there is a time when we know that they need them, but unfortunately, we are not able to make it. So
Hmm.
the vision of the cinema itself, we said, okay, we need to capture this, because in case we have to make elderly live happy, that's obviously the end goal. But should we do that, we are also positively impacting the life or the caregivers or the family members who they wanted actually, who are a part of that family. So
Yep.
in our vision itself, we say that, and this is a fact which we have captured, that yeah, families are nuclear now. Elders are living alone, and
Hmm.
therefore you need to take care of both the side. Just to give an example on this, with having this thought in mind. So, Easy Phone has got a patented technology, which and something called K Touch. Now, what does
Okay.
K Touch does? It's like, for example, I'm here, and my let's say my mom is sitting in Kerala. Okay, I can manage her phone sitting out of here. Okay, I can set alarms for her sitting over here, her reminders sitting over here. I can add a phone number for her. I can create emergency SOS contacts for her, and so forth and everything. I can do all sitting over here. While this is a simple phone, but I can do this over the internet. I can do it from anywhere. Okay, because why we have, so there is, it's a very simple thing, but I just wanted to
Hmm.
share this example to say that, okay, we are aware that there is a larger ecosystem which we need to address,
Yep.
because elderly alone is not under stress. Their ecosystem also goes under stress. So, for example, there are people who are not able to travel. Okay, so they call me and they people say, I'm not getting a break, but I want my parents to travel. Okay, why don't you
Hmm.
take them for me? Okay, so so that's how you impact them positively, because the son
Yep.
is sitting somewhere else. He has money, but he doesn't probably have time to come all the way from US and
Hmm.
then take the parents to somewhere else and so forth. So whatever you are designing, we keep the caregivers or the family members in the center of our design, and say that, okay, whatever we
Hmm.
do, how do we impact them positively? Another example is, a lot of our people who call them and they say that, my friends who are back over there, they keep on telling that, okay, look, my parents, I have been asking them to come back to US, stay with me,
Hmm.
but they are not ready to travel, but I'm always worried for them, what happens in case of an emergency and all of that. So, the whole emergency SOS system which we have created in the phone, that, okay, should you have an emergency, press a button, the neighbors will know about it. Okay, you can call for a help and so forth. So these are all things which you do, which you can impact, but this is not good enough. I think there is enough and more opportunity and scope which we are working on, and pretty soon, we will see our community also getting extended to the caregivers as well, and we'll try to create a both tech and non-tech products which can help these nuclear families to come closer, with the technology as a backbone, and do a lot of things which can positively impact their lives.
No, absolutely. And we wish you all the best, Deepu, for the future endeavors and the future products and services that the company plans to launch. And before we close today's episode, we have spoken already about a lot of great anecdotes that you shared with respect to elderlies leveraging Senior World's platform, the community, and your products and services. But any last thoughts about, especially in the last couple of years, how COVID really impacted everybody, and seniors were also impacted to an extent where they were under that scanner, because even the government and everybody were concerned about their health, because they were the most susceptible to the virus. So any success stories that you would like to share within the last couple of years, wherein you have seen elderlies really enjoy Senior World to an extent wherein their worries and the whole COVID-19 pandemic to them was something that they could just leave behind.
Uh, I think there are enough and more. And I think I will talk about two stories which, always comes to my heart whenever I talk about
Mhm.
seniors. One is obviously pre-COVID and one is during the COVID, and you
Yep.
can and connect the dots by, uh, you can connect the dots actually, with these two events, why I'm sharing these two events. So this was my first trip way back in 2016 with a group of elderly people, and I myself went just to get an experience that how elderly people would like to travel, what kind of comfort they require. So I traveled myself along with those customers, and this was one of our evening days in which we do some get together and make people sing, shares, their stories, and all of that. So this is was so in our group there were a few people who were singing songs and everything, and there's this gentleman who comes to me, and he was, I think, 87-year-old that time, and he said that, Deepu, I also would like to sing. Now his wife came and helped him. He said, okay, which song would you like to sing? So he said some some song. He said,
Mhm.
do you remember the song? He said, I don't fully remember that song, but uh, can you help me along? So the wife was standing next to him, and he started singing the songs. And this was an old Hindi movie song. I haven't also heard that song, but he sang Anurag for almost 5-6 minutes nonstop.
Wow.
And I could have, and his wife who was standing next to him was absolutely in tears. And I asked, Auntie ji, why are you crying? He said, Dibu, first of all, I don't know how he recollected all these lines. Secondly,
Hmm.
I haven't seen him singing for ages. I don't know how he did it. So that's where I realized that if these people are given platform and they are motivated within their peer group, there's a lot of these things these can do which probably they think they can't. Okay, and that stayed with me for ages, and I have seen many such examples during my travel. So what happened during COVID, instantly also, I kept on getting calls from people that, Dipu, beta batao kab khatam hoga COVID, kab hum dobara ghumenge, kab mil sakte hain, वगैरह वगैरह. And I said, Auntie ji, now the health is more priority, safety is first. Europe will remain where it is right now, it will not go anywhere. You take care of here, we'll go to Europe someday. And but people were starting getting really pissed off, sitting at home. So then what we started doing, engagement over Zoom. And a lot of people never have used Zoom. So first we taught them how to use Zoom, created their logins, taught them how to do it, and they were ready to adopt. And then we started having, almost every day we used to have antakshris, we used to have quizzes, we used to them a lot of fun with them. And I remember, very recently, a video from an uncle who said that I was such an introvert. I
Mhm.
never thought I could have faced a Zoom video and sang in front of some another 20 people. And I know I'm not such a great singer, but no, I have no fear right now facing a camera. I have no fear in, you guys have really helped me to come out with. So these
Yep.
these
Yep.
kind of things have happened, and I can clearly see that, okay, if you keep them together in their peer group and they motivate. There are many things these guys do which they themselves think that, okay, look, अगर मैं किसी को बोलूंगा तो क्या होगा? I remember an incident again, which is a very, you know, a very, something which is close to my heart. This is again in one of our trips where one gentleman, he was 84 plus, from defense. We were in Northeast. We went there and there was one place. So over there was a zip lining going on, which was some 120 feet above. So he came to me and said, Deepu, I want to do a zip lining. I said, Uncle, how come, and I was, because, his safety is my paramount, priority. But he said, no, I want to do this, and he was from defense background, well built, and he was pretty confident. So everybody motivated him. He went and he started doing the zip lining. Okay. And there were other people along with him. They were called kids who were doing it, but he was the 84-year guy doing a zip lining.
Wow.
We were 24 people, Anurag, in that group. The moment he did it, there were 6 ladies who came to me and said, Deepu, we will also like to do it.
Wow.
Now, here is what, happened. So the peers started, motivating each other. One lady went and did, and the second lady one did, and 5 ladies did it. Now the 6th lady, her husband was not very comfortable and was more scared for her to do it. So this lady comes to me and said, Deepu, एक काम कर, अंकल जी को साइड में ले जा, मैं पीछे से चली जाती हूँ. And actually I did that. And I took uncle to the side for a chai, and in meantime she ran and she did zip lining. And okay, and there was so much of fun in these days. So what I wanted to actually convey is that while COVID happened, these challenges happened, but if you give them platform and you bring them together, I think we can do wonders with their loneliness. The biggest fear for elderly is the loneliness. If you can address that element of it, I personally believe a lot of root cause for their health doesn't come from the health. It actually is the root cause is loneliness in their life. If you address that element of it, a lot of positivity comes, and therefore a lot of ailments which just goes away. This is my personal take. I may not be able to substantiate this with a scientific argument, but this is my strong belief.
No, that's a very, very strong statement there, Deepu, and very powerful, not strong. I think it's more powerful. And I believe it's true to some extent, wherein not just, it's not the physical challenge that elderlies face. It's more of mental and emotional. And that is where I think loneliness is one of the biggest challenges that they also face. And like we spoke about nuclear families and children being away from their parents, it becomes difficult for them to really understand, what's happening, because things are moving so fast in today's world. Even the kids, they, even though they want to spend time with their families, their parents, but they are not able to because of the fast-paced life that we live in. But thank you so much, Deepu. You have shared such great anecdotes with us, such great stories and experiences. I'm sure these past 30 minutes with our audience, I'm sure a lot of people would have enjoyed these stories, and they would have gained a lot of insights about what's happening. And sometimes, like you said, these are simple things that can make big impact. And these are the simple things that we also want people to really look up to. And guys, if you have elderlies at home, give them a call after listening to this episode. Give them a tight hug if you are with them, and tell them that you love them. And that is what we are here for. And also, we would put down links to Senior World in the show notes below. So if you want to reach out to Deepu or his partner in crime, Rahul, then we would put their LinkedIn profile links as well. So you can ask them other questions. And if you want to be part of Senior World, they would be happy to help you with that. So Deepu, thank you so much for being on the show. You have been an absolute pleasure to speak with, and I hope to get you back on the show in the near future.
Thank you very much, Anurag, and all the best for Social Desi. This was really lovely talking to you.
So that wraps it up for today, folks. If you liked the episode, give it a big thumbs up, share it with your friends, and let's go viral. Remember, our weekly podcast features episodes on personal growth, mental health, relationships, business and entrepreneurship, and health and fitness. We would love to have Mr. Deepu on the show again in the future to talk about how they're changing the world for seniors. So, if you haven't yet done so, hit that subscribe button and go check out our website at sociallydesi.com. And as always, before I sign off, remember, life is black and white and everything in between.